Dr. Coach Haley here with Rewilded Integral Coaching, here to bring you some strength and stability exercises for your most empowered and joyful running. If you're training for an ultra race or are just wanting to build some strength for speed, explosiveness, or just stronger empowered distance, these are great exercises. They're going to help you feel good in your body, help you feel strong and build muscle, and also help prevent injury. And so we're going to be working with a couple of tools. I really like to just focus on body weight and using our environment instead of requiring a lot of different tools for our exercise, because accessibility to strength and to our most joyful running is really important to me. But today I brought in a couple of tools. Now, I myself don't have a full set of weights, so I have just gotten two 5-pound weights. We're going to use them together as a 10-pound weight. You can use a jug of water. You can, if your dog doesn't mind being carried, you can use your dog. If your dog is 10 pounds or so, a small baby, anything like that. And then I am working with an exercise band today. I recommend that we start with the light exercise bands if you have a set of light, medium, and maybe like a heavy. I'm working with a medium today. That's just where I am in my body, but we can honor where we are, and slow, patient progression is the way. So we don't need to push ourselves into something that our bodies aren't ready for. That's when we get hurt, and that's not fun at all. Your progress comes from that slow, patient, persistent, staying present to the process. So honor where you are today, and celebrate where you are, and start with the light band, all right? So we're going to be starting today with working with the band. We're going to place this band below our knees, around our calves, and we're just going to be doing some side steps. So what we want to do is we want to step out sideways, okay, with our knees just slightly bent here, stepping sideways and bringing our legs together. And we want to step wide enough where we feel that pull, okay, but the band's not slipping up around our knees. So you'll feel the control here. And I'm going to invite you to do 3 sets of 20, okay, giving yourself a full recovery in between each. So you should be feeling it as you're doing it. You'll actually feel it on the insides of your legs, and you'll also feel all the way down the outsides. So after we do those, you can actually keep the band on. And we're going to go into lateral lunges. Okay, so keeping the band exactly where it was before, we're just going to step and bend that right knee, okay, and step and bend the left knee. Just getting that extension, inviting ourselves to control the placement of the band. By focusing on that band, it's gonna keep our knee from overextending over our toes. And it's really gonna actually build more muscle than if we were to do this without the band. So if I'm doing this without the band, it is a good workout up here in my groin, right? But sometimes I can overextend here, and this resistance band is actually working more muscles. So we're going to be doing 3 sets of those, and do a count of 10 with those. 3 sets of 10, okay? And then we're going to come on over here to our weights. So you can start with whatever feels good in your body, 5 pounds or 10 pounds. We really don't need to be going heavier than this. If you aren't used to working with weights, you can do these without weights, and these are just simple lunges. Okay, so we're gonna do a lunge forward, okay? Dropping that left knee, and lunge forward, dropping the right knee. Now you'll notice that I kind of shake a little bit. I have some nerve damage and some spinal issues right now. And so this is really good for building stability. We want to keep our back straight as we lunge, okay? So we're stepping forward, dropping that knee, and our back stays straight. We're not leaning forward here, okay? And we're not overly arching our back. We're just staying nice and neutral through the back. And what this is doing is this is helping us exercise our hip flexors and build our hamstring and our glute muscles. Also working that quadricep muscle, okay? And so the tendency a lot of times for us is if we have weak glutes and weak core going on, then we actually start to shorten our knee lift here. And in order to try to get a big leg extension, I'll turn this way, we end up kicking back here and swaying our back, sticking our glute out, and we end up getting this pelvic tilt, this anterior pelvic tilt. And so it's shortening our stride length and really slowing down our cycle, our leg cycle, our foot turnover, and we end up getting this sort of pendulum motion with our legs instead of a full cycle, which is the most efficient, right? It's also going to create some problems in our hip flexors and other alignment issues. So by keeping this back nice and neutral, we're building up our hip flexor here and really making it strong as we go forward here and then kick back there without swaying our back. So we want to stay nice and neutral. And I'm going to invite you to maybe start with 3 sets of 10. If that feels easy in your body, maybe 3 sets of 20, 3 sets of 16, make it an even number so you're working both sides. We're going to do the same thing, going backwards too, taking those weights and stepping back, okay? And what we want to do too is, you'll notice I have some instability, so I need to be doing these as well. We want to make sure that we're nice and neutral and we're not kicking onto one side. If you're noticing some shakiness in your legs or some instability, only go down as far as you can before you start to shake. Stepping back and nice and neutral. You can see I start to shake there. So I'm going to be nice and neutral in my spine. And then you can build from there. We want to go to the edge of challenge and not start creating instability. Okay. So again, 3 sets of 10 with those, and we can grow from there. All right, so the next exercise we're going to be doing is actually super good. It's challenging. It's really, really fun. So if you have stairs at your disposal or a chair, this is not the most stable chair, highly recommend stairs instead of a chair. We're actually going to be working on 2 stairs. Okay, so imagine this is 1 stair up and then the 2nd stair, okay? So you're gonna take, ideally you're gonna have something to hold on to, so I'm gonna use an exercise bike. Okay, something to hold on to here. Go, let's turn this around. And we're gonna be doing these step ups using your weight. So it's gonna be a simple pump up. You're gonna step up, down, up, down, up, down. Feel free to use a railing, and we're just going to step up and down, making sure not to bounce, but we want to make it pretty quick, okay? So what this is simulating is your climbing. If you're working on hills and creating that strength that you need to keep climbing. And this is also simulating really building the muscles for toeing off strong, okay? So we're stepping up and down, up and down, up and down. And you can start with 30 of those on each leg. Just 1 set is enough for a session. And you can build from there and build your way up, really working your way up. All right, so the next thing we're going to be doing is some clamshells. This is great for our glutes and our abductor and adductor muscles as well. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to move my props here. And we're going to take the exercise band and we're actually going to place it above our knees this time. Okay. So we place it above our knees. And we're going to come all the way down onto our armpit or our shoulder. Okay, either one, whatever feels good in your body. We want our hips to be square in a line, stacked on top of each other here. Our ankles stacked on top of each other. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take that band and we're going to open those legs as high as we can, lifting that top leg as high as we can without allowing that hip to roll over or our knee to lift up off the ground. So you can see my hip is rolling over. So I want to lift it as high as I can and control back down. Nice and controlled back down. So I'm really feeling it right now in those abductor muscles. And a little bit on the adductor right here. And you'll do the same thing on the other side. We're going to do 3 sets of 10, okay? So this one actually feels stronger. I can feel it in my glute as well. We want to feel it in our glutes. And then finally, our last exercise for today is going to be glute bridges. So there's a trick to glute bridges that isn't often talked about. So maybe you've done glute bridges before and you felt your hamstrings tensing up. Okay, so we want to avoid that. We don't want to be overly engaging our quads, and we don't want to be overly engaging those hamstrings and having them lock up on us. We really want to be isolating the glutes and working with the glutes in our core. So the closer you bring your heels towards your glutes, the easier it's going to be in terms of avoiding that hamstring lockup. You can work on moving your heels away the more you build those glutes, and you can kind of get used to how to do this, okay? So I'm going to talk you through how to do a glute bridge without having your hamstrings lock up. And then I'm recommending doing 3 sets of 10, taking it really nice and slow. So this is an exercise best done slow. A lot of people pop up and down and they really focus on hoisting those hips towards the sky. That's not where it's at. We're really going to be focusing on the glutes here. So we're going to be taking our back. Now here's the thing, when we have our feet planted on the ground, it's called a closed chain, a closed circuit here. So we actually want to allow our back to have that natural little curve to it, a little gap. I've had a friend say that you can imagine just having like a little berry underneath your back, that little space between your back and the ground. We don't want to be imprinting that part of our back into the ground. We're meant to have that little bit of curve when our feet are planted on the ground, okay? So our feet are planted. We're feeling that little space and just allowing it to be natural, okay? Our tailbone is on the ground. Our shoulder blades are on the ground. Now what we want to do is we're going to take an inhale. And then on the exhale, we're going to start to imagine pulling our tailbone up. So inhale, feeling that gap between our back. And as we exhale, we're going to lower that gap in our back, that little rounded part of our back, into the earth as we lift our tailbone up. So you can imagine just curling from the tailbone, nice and slow. Every vertebrae lifting one at a time up towards the sky. So see, right now I only feel it in my glutes and I feel it in my back, okay? And then hold here for 1, 2, 3 beats. And then as you exhale, you're going to start from that top vertebrae here and allow it to make contact with the ground. And then one vertebrae at a time moving down towards your lumbar is going to touch the ground until you get to that gap in your back and your tailbone. Create the space in your back. Let your tailbone push down into the earth. Inhale. And on your exhale, we're curling that tailbone up towards the sky and rolling through every vertebrae. 1, 2, 3, and releasing, exhaling, rolling every vertebrae nice and slow. So we're controlling with those glutes, feeling a little bit of engagement through my quads. I'm feeling the small of my back making contact with the earth, and now my tailbone pushes down. Inhale and roll back up. So that's going to be the process there. Take it nice and slow. So it's just kind of a wave. If this is my back, okay, there's the little curve in my back, and this is my back here, my shoulders, this is the curve in my back. I'm basically pushing down and, well, this isn't working very well. I'm pushing down and rolling that tailbone up until I'm able to lift. And then I'm rolling back down. Rolling up, rolling back down, okay? Takes a little bit of practice and some coordination, but it really does help take that load off of the hamstrings and work the muscles that we're wanting to isolate here that are going to drive our best, most empowered running. And our best, most empowered running is all about joy. So injury-free, joyful running. So friends, that's all for today. run joyful, run fierce, and I'll see you in the next video.